February 1957. On a desolate stretch of Susquehanna Road in Philadelphia, a discarded cardboard box is discovered. Inside lies the body of a little boy. He was only 4 years old. No name, no family, no identity. The nation would come to know him as the boy in the box, America's unknown child. The child's small, frail body was naked, his frame wasted from malnutrition, his skin marked with countless bruises. Scars revealed traces of past surgeries on his ankle, groin, and chin. And yet, in a haunting detail, the boy appeared freshly bathed, his hair recently trimmed, his fingernails carefully cut, as if someone had tried to erase who he was or prepare him for one final farewell. The cause of death: homicide by blunt force trauma. For decades, the boy's identity remained a mystery. Reporters, detectives, and amateur sleuths all obsessed over the case. His face stared out from posters and newspapers. But every lead collapsed into silence. And the question lingered: who was this child? 65 years later, technology finally unlocked the secret. On the 30th of November 2022, Philadelphia police announced that through DNA analysis and genealogical databases, they had solved the mystery of the boy's name. He was Joseph Augustus Zarelli, born the 13th of January 1953, dead by February 1957, just 4 years old. The mystery of his identity was answered, but the truth behind his death remains unsolved. Who hurt Joseph? Why was he left alone in that box? Even now, after more than 6 decades, his case remains open, an enduring wound in America's history of unsolved crimes. Discovery of the body. The 25th of February, 1957. In the quiet Fox Chase neighborhood of Philadelphia, a grim discovery was about to unfold. A young man, checking on his rabbit traps in the woods off Susquehanna Road, stumbled upon something he could never forget: the body of a small boy, wrapped in a plaid blanket, lying inside a discarded cardboard box. Terrified that police might confiscate his traps, he left without saying a word. Days later, fate intervened again. A college student, chasing after a rabbit darting into the brush, noticed the box. Inside, he found the same lifeless child. Unlike the first witness, this student, disturbed and unsettled, eventually came forward the following day, after hearing news of another missing child. The box had once contained a baby's bassinet, sold by J.C. Penney. Inside lay the naked body of a boy no older than 4. His hair had been crudely cut, with clumps still clinging to his skin, possibly trimmed after his death. The child's frail body bore the signs of long-term neglect. Severe malnourishment had left him skeletal. His skin was scarred not only by bruises, but by surgical marks on his ankle and groin, and an L-shaped scar etched beneath his chin. It was clear this boy had suffered. But who was he? And why had his short life ended in such horror? Abandoned in the woods inside a box? The mystery of the boy in the box had begun. Investigation prior to identification. The 26th of February, 1957, police opened a formal investigation into the death of the boy found in the box. His fingerprints were taken, and detectives were hopeful that his identity would soon be revealed. But as the days passed, no family stepped forward. No one claimed him. The case gripped Philadelphia and the entire Delaware Valley. The Philadelphia Inquirer printed 400,000 flyers with the child's likeness, flooding neighborhoods, plastered across walls, even slipped into every household gas bill. Authorities went further still, distributing a post-mortem photograph of the boy, dressed and positioned upright, staged to resemble how he may have looked in life. It was a desperate attempt to stir recognition, but it yielded nothing. The wooded crime scene was combed again and again by 270 police academy recruits. Their search uncovered a man's blue corduroy cap, a child's scarf, and a white handkerchief embroidered with the letter G. Each item was catalogued as potential evidence. Each item led nowhere. As years turned into decades, the boy's identity remained elusive, but science began to offer new hope. In 1998, his body was exhumed for the first time. From a tooth, investigators extracted DNA. In 2016, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released a forensic facial reconstruction, adding the child to their database. And in 2019, his body was exhumed yet again, yielding further DNA samples. Despite relentless efforts, the boy remained nameless for more than 6 decades. A child without a voice. A mystery frozen in time. Identification. For more than 6 decades, the boy in the box remained nameless, an unidentified victim frozen in time. But in late 2022, the silence finally broke. On the 30th of November, 2022, the Philadelphia Police Department announced a stunning development. Through advanced DNA testing and investigative genetic genealogy, they had identified the child. A case update would soon follow. Whispers spread quickly. Sources hinted that the boy had belonged to a well-known family in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Then, on the 8th of December, 2022, the announcement became official. The child, once known only as America's unknown boy, was finally given back his name. Joseph Augustus Zarelli. Born the 13th of January 1953. Just 4 years old when he died. In truth, genealogists had uncovered Joseph's identity more than a year earlier, in October 2021, but it took months of meticulous verification before the revelation could be made public. The breakthrough came when a cousin uploaded DNA to a public database. Investigators traced the connection, encouraging the cousin's mother, a first cousin of Joseph, to submit her profile to GEDmatch. That genetic link opened the door. With a court order, detectives obtained Joseph's birth certificate, and with it the names of his parents. The DNA confirmed the match. On the 19th of January, 2023, those names were finally reported. After 65 years, the lost child in the box was no longer unknown. He was Joseph. But though his name has been restored, the greater mystery still lingers. Who killed him? And why? The investigation, even now, remains open. Theories prior to identification. 1. The foster home. Before the boy in the box was finally identified, countless theories swirled around who he was and how he came to such a tragic end. One of the most enduring centered on a foster home just a mile and a half from where the body was found. In 1960, Remington Bristow, an employee of the medical examiner's office who would chase this case for more than 3 decades, turned to unconventional methods. Desperate for answers, he consulted a New Jersey psychic. The psychic told him to look for a house that matched a vision she described. When she was brought to Philadelphia, she led Bristow directly to the foster home near the crime scene. Bristow attended an estate sale at the home. There, he discovered a bassinet, eerily similar to the one once sold at JCPenney, the same brand of box that had cradled the boy's body. On the clothesline, he noticed blankets that looked strikingly like the one used to wrap the child. Bristow began to believe that the boy might have been the illegitimate son of the foster father's stepdaughter, and that the family had hidden his death to protect her reputation as an unwed mother. But when police investigated, every foster child was accounted for. No one was missing. Years later, in 1998, Lieutenant Tom Augustine of the Philadelphia Police, along with members of the Vidocq Society, a team of retired detectives and profilers, re-examined the case. They interviewed both the foster father and the stepdaughter, who by then had married him. In the end, investigators concluded that the foster family was not involved. The foster home theory was officially closed. For all of Bristow's tireless efforts, the trail once again went cold. and the boy in the box remained a child without a name. The woman known as Martha, or M. In February 2002, decades after the boy's body was discovered, a new voice emerged. A woman known only as Martha, or simply M, came forward with a disturbing claim. Martha accused her own mother of acquiring and ultimately killing the child who became known as the boy in the box. According to Martha, her parents had purchased a little boy named Jonathan in the summer of 1954. She insisted that this boy was the same child later found abandoned in Philadelphia. Martha claimed that after years of abuse, her mother beat the boy to death, then disposed of his body in the woods inside a box. Her story shook investigators. On the surface, it seemed chillingly plausible. But there was a problem. Martha had a long history of mental illness, and police struggled to corroborate her testimony. Neighbors who knew the family dismissed her account, saying they had never seen a young boy living in Martha's home. They labeled her claims as ridiculous. In the end, the Martha theory unraveled. Her story, like so many others, offered only shadows, never answers. And the mystery of the boy in the box remained unsolved. Other theories. Over the years, many theories attempted to explain who the boy in the box really was and why his life ended so tragically. One theory came from forensic artist Frank Bender. He proposed that the child may have been raised as a girl. Bender pointed to the crude, uneven haircut done in haste, and to the boy's shaped eyebrows. In 2008, he even released a sketch depicting the child with long hair, reflecting strands found clinging to the body. The haunting image fueled speculation, but produced no answers. Years later, another lead emerged from across the country. In 2016, two writers, Jim Hoffman of Los Angeles and Louis Romano of New Jersey, believed they had uncovered a possible identity in Memphis, Tennessee. The trail began years earlier, when a Philadelphia man suspected a connection and sought help from Hoffman. Together with Romano, they pushed for DNA testing to confirm their theory. By January 2014, DNA samples from the Memphis family were submitted to Philadelphia police. Investigators promised to explore the lead, but stressed the need for further research before making comparisons. Finally, in December 2017, Homicide Sergeant Bob Kuhlmeyer confirmed the results. The DNA did not match. The Memphis connection was ruled out. Each theory brought hope. Each promised a breakthrough. But time and again, the trail ended in disappointment. The boy remained nameless, until DNA decades later finally gave him back his identity. Burial. Joseph Augustus Zarelli was originally buried in a potter's field. In 1998, he was reburied at Ivy Hill Cemetery in the Cedar Brook section of Philadelphia, which donated a large plot. The large headstone, when first installed, contained the words, "America's Unknown Child," with a plaque underneath reading, "Heavenly Father, bless this unknown boy." On the 13th of January 2023, which would have been Joseph's 70th birthday, a new memorial containing his full name and image was unveiled, along with the addition of his name to the existing headstone. Homicide investigation. In December 2022, at a press conference that made headlines across the nation, Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw delivered a solemn reminder. Joseph's death was still an active homicide investigation. And even after 65 years, detectives still needed the public's help. At that same briefing, authorities confirmed that both of Joseph's biological parents had passed away, but he was not entirely alone in the world. He still had surviving half-siblings. Captain Jason Smith of the Homicide Unit urged the public to remember. The child did live past the age of 4 years old. There would have been somebody out there who saw this child. Maybe a family member, perhaps a neighbor, someone who remembers. Reporters continued to dig. In January 2023, NBC 10 Philadelphia revealed that Joseph had been born to a couple living at 64th and Callow Hill Streets. Whether he lived there long enough for neighbors to notice remains unclear. That same month, the Philadelphia Inquirer uncovered the names of his parents. His father, Augustus John Gus Zarelli. His mother, Mary Elizabeth Betsy Plunkett. After decades of being known only as the boy in the box, Joseph Augustus Zarelli's name had finally been restored. Yet the most important questions remain unanswered. Who killed him? And why? Until those questions are resolved, Joseph's case will remain open, an enduring mystery, and a haunting reminder of justice still unfinished.